If you're watching this, you're probably the kind of woman who's loved deeply, not just with affection, but with soul. You gave him your vulnerability. You made space for his needs. You defended him when he wasn't around. You believed in his potential, sometimes more than he did. You stayed loyal in ways that cost you your peace. And you hoped that eventually he'd see it. But he didn't, did he? But he left. And now you're left asking, what did I do wrong? This video is for the woman who gave him everything and still feels like she wasn't enough. The truth is, you were never the problem, but the pattern is, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's walk through these 6 powerful signs. You became emotionally vulnerable. You let him see parts of you no one else got access to. You dropped the mask. You took the risk even when it terrified you. And it didn't make him love you more. It made you feel exposed. Sometimes it even backfired. You prioritised his needs. You showed up. You held space. Sometimes put him first. Not out of weakness, but devotion. But over time, you lost yourself in that dance. His peace mattered more than your voice. You defended him in his absence. You were loyal behind his back. You believed in his goodness, even when others raised red flags. But now, you feel unprotected, unseen. You invested in his healing. You listened to the stories of his past, his childhood pain, his wounds. You thought love could be the medicine. You thought if you held him tightly enough, he'd rise. But you became the healer, and he stayed the patient. You stayed when it got hard. You didn't run. You tried. You gave chances, and maybe that loyalty kept you in something that didn't grow because you were holding on to his potential, not the reality. He missed all of it, or worse, he saw it and didn't value it, or said he did, then walked away. And now you're wondering if you were too much or not enough. So here's the truth. You were showing up as a woman ready for soul partnership. But if he hadn't done the work, if he hadn't healed, if he hadn't faced his fears of intimacy or grown past his ego or done his inner repair work, then he couldn't meet you there. So what felt sacred to you may have felt threatening to him. That kind of love requires presence, maturity, and emotional depth. And if someone isn't emotionally available, they'll run from the very thing they say that they want. This isn't about blaming him or you. It's about truth. You were speaking the language of healed love. He was still speaking the language of survival. Now, here's where your power comes back. You don't need to love less. You don't need to be more chill. You don't need to dim your intuition or your devotion or your brilliance. But you do need to stop overgiving to emotionally unavailable men. That's not love. That's survival. And it's a pattern, one you inherited, one your nervous system is used to, but it's not your truth. In my 6-week journey, I walk women through breaking this exact loop. We release the patterns of overfunctioning, anxious attachment, waiting to be chosen, and finally start attracting love that matches the depth that you give. You deserve to be loved at the level you love. If you're nodding along, if this hits somewhere deep in your chest, this is your sign not to go back and try harder, but to come back to you. Your love is sacred. Stop giving it to men who don't have the capacity to hold it. And if you want to heal this at the root, let's do it together. Reach out to me, direct message me about my 6-week course. It starts on the 30th of September. Or if you're not ready yet, grab my free workbook, From Heartbreak to Wholeness. And the link is in the comments or it's in my bio. Because when a woman heals this pattern, she doesn't just stop attracting unavailable love. She starts attracting herself.